Look, listen, it's been a great week for everybody here at 95.7 The Game, our listeners. Tuesday at the Berkeley Country Club with Chris and Matt.
I'm exhausted.
In our group, Papa Shasky, Dave from over there at Berkeley CC, Whitley coming around with us on the cart. Then we had 2 straight days of training camp. And let me tell you, there's nothing like football season, folks. You can feel the urgency with every rep, every single rep. Depending on who you talk to, they'll tell you one guy looked good. For example, Lumpman, as we're walking off the field, because you walked off a little earlier than this.
I was in full stride.
Lumpman's walking off with me. He goes, boy, I got to say, Trey Lance looked the best out of everybody. I was like, really?
Yeah, I didn't see that.
I saw Sam Darnold perform better.
I agree.
I sent out a tweet yesterday, and everybody's going crazy.
What's that?
Instagram and everybody. I said, Sam Darnold was the best quarterback on the field today.
I thought the same
More
thing.
decisive.
If you and I stand next to each other exclusively the entire time.
Yeah, and or like 10,
we didn't.
Or like 10 feet of, we were like 15
and
apart.
I, independent of you, thought the exact same thing.
Right. I had my different vantage points or whatnot. More decisive, anticipation, threw down the field. That it doesn't mean that the Niners performed greatly on offense.
No.
Doesn't mean that Sam Darnold was great.
And it didn't mean that he didn't back that up the very next play with a, where are you throwing that
He'll
play?
throw a dime one play, and then it's like, oh, boys, that's Sam Darnold in a nutshell for you. But look,
You
again,
nailed that right
but listen, it's day 2 without shoulder pads. If anything, you and I have learned day 2 in training camp, you can't put a lot of stock into because there's no shoulder pads and there's no hitting at all.
But why are we afraid? Just real quick. If my dad, for example, will call me up like, how'd today go? What did you see? So if a friend was asking me, Joe, what'd you see? I don't need the context. I know the context. I don't need all the backstories and all the excuses. What'd you see? And this is what I would say. I thought Purdy looked pretty bad yesterday.
Right.
Now, do I know it's day 1 for him coming back from months? Yeah. Did he throw some balls around and stacked up with the other guys?
Right.
Yeah. He looks skittish in the pocket. That doesn't mean he can't be better tomorrow. That doesn't mean that he's not going to be better 3 or 4 weeks down the line.
Yeah.
But if you're asking me what'd you see yesterday, why are we afraid to say out loud, I didn't think Purdy looked good at all?
Well, I want to ask the audience, too.
Why is that a bad thing?
No.
Why are we afraid to say it out loud?
I want to ask the audience at some point today, 888-957-9570. Is Brock Purdy rushing himself back because he knows this job isn't submitted for his? Like, yeah, he's the leader in the clubhouse, but in terms of long-term quarterbacking in San Francisco, there's a lot on the line for Trey. There's a lot on the line for Sam Darnold. And you better believe there's a lot on the line for Brock Purdy. We'll break down the contract details, when he's eligible for extensions and all that stuff, because I think Brock Purdy may be rushing himself back. Now, with that said, it was great to see him on the field. That's great.
Yes.
He made it back. He's a full go. He tried to rip the ball a few times. Look, I'm not going to give him a gold star for having incompletions deep down the field. Those passes weren't close to being completed.
And that's the other thing. Like, I'm seeing everybody like, oh, he ripped it.
Yeah.
That was a balloon ball.
Yeah, no, one of them was a balloon ball, and the other one was overthrown. So I don't know why we're giving him credit. But honestly, why are we giving Brock Purdy? We should be giving Brock Purdy credit for throwing incompletions. But it is his first day without contact. So Brock Purdy, yes, it was great that he was on the football field. Did he perform greatly? Absolutely not. He threw behind guys. He was indecisive. He would have got sacked 3 or 4 times if this was live bullets. But that's okay because it was his first day back.
But why are we, as I'm asking you from the media perspective, why is everyone so afraid to just say the obvious? He didn't look so good. No, we all know why.
No, we all
know why.
You know what it is?
We all know why. But why are we afraid to say it?
You know what it is, Shasky? There's a lot of people out there who say that people have an agenda on who they want to start at quarterback. You and I, and I'll say this again, I'm going to say it every day, just to make it clear, because people are like, oh, you love this guy or you hate this guy. I don't care who plays quarterback. As long as you give the Niners a better chance to go to a Super Bowl, because that's what the season is about. It's about getting to the Super Bowl and winning it. Let's just face it, folks. That's the pressure on the Niners. That's the expectation set by that team down in that locker room.
Those
so
players
I don't really
play
care.
With a sense of urgency.
No doubt about it.
That they want to win.
They want to win. Drake Greenlaw was out there running around. Wait till he gets the shoulder pads. He's going to be knocking dudes' helmets off.
Is Ayuk out there just running routes?
Ayuk looks like the best player in camp.
Why is that?
Because he's high-pointing the football. He's jumping up. He's diving. He's running over the middle. Brandon Ayuk looks like he's about to be a superstar this year, and he wants the paper. No doubt about it. Money is on the line. This is pro sports. You got to get paid. This is about long-term security. If you don't think Brock Purdy wants that, Brock Purdy's not even making $1 million this season. All right? not even making $1 million this season. You don't think he's thinking about, boy, if I have one more great season, I'm going to cash in. But I cannot leave an opening for Trey Lance or Sam Darnold because they are good enough to take my job. So that's why, to me, nobody's talking about it. Brock Purdy may be rushing himself back to try to get that job and keep that job because the same way he got the job was through injury. The same way Draymond Green thrust into the starting lineup for the Golden State Warriors was based off an injury to David Lee. It really was.
Fonte, you know, it's very interesting. Like, I'm seeing people like, let's be honest, did you expect him to be ready? It isn't. Let's have a realistic conversation. Part of the baked in why everyone loves Brock Purdy. Yes, the game film and everything he did, but it's also, and goes back to the Jimmy convo, we all believe he gives you your best chance of winning right now. But the guy I saw yesterday, that's not accurate.
And again, it's day one.
No, I know.
Real quick.
But everything else around them is in full swing, and he's trying to ramp up. And he's behind the 8 ball.
Something I wanted to say. A lot of people talk about agendas, right?
What do you mean? Oh,
you want your quarterback to play. Oh, who do you want to start? Somebody asked me that, fan. I said, man, I don't really care. Who do you want to start? Because it feels like the same people who are claiming that certain individuals have agendas and they want Trey to start or they want this guy to start. The people who are talking about Brock Purdy looking great yesterday are the ones with the agendas. Come on, man.
Who looked better between? No, I'm being honest.
Honestly, Brock Purdy did not perform greatly. It was day one. We will turn the page.
Exactly.
It does not matter. The shoulder pads come on Monday. But don't sit here and lie to the people who can't attend practice and say that, oh, my God, Brock Purdy ripped it. Because that's not what I saw yesterday, and maybe I'm blind.
I came off that field thinking to myself, boy, it is one day. But if things don't change quickly, Sam Darnold's going to play for this team.
Yes. Sam Darnold's going to get a shot.
Can you look me in the eye? Whether health or performance, he's going to get an opportunity.
Shasky, when he signed the contract, the second day of free agency, what did I say on these airways?
Right.
No, it's not even about you being wrong.
Right.
But I've said, you don't think Sam Darnold is looking at this situation saying, boy, sounds like they're kind of out on Trey Lance. Brock Purdy's got the torn UCL. Boy, they have Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and Darnold has a nice little rapport with Deebo Samuel.
And Ayuk. He threw a big, deep comeback on zone to Ayuk that was ripped. I think that was the second best throw of the day.
What about the one Deebo Samuel on the left sideline, 20 yards down the field? Sam Darnold's looking right.
That was beautiful.
Deebo cuts out, hits that out route, and Darnold just rips it and completes it. Darnold, you think he didn't sign here thinking that, boy, I got a 1-year prove-it deal.
Yeah.
I can rejuvenate my entire career with Kyle Shanahan, and I'll have a chance to play.
And he looks like, we talk a lot about the physical attributes. It matters because these windows are so tight, and he ripped a couple that were tiny little windows. How about the throw that he threw over the top to Ayuk that wasn't there, and he kind of threw Ayuk open? I looked over and I said, oh,
Darnold
I haven't seen Jimmy do that. I haven't seen Trey do that. That's a hell of a throw, right?
It was a hell of a throw. So yesterday,
and then the very next play,
he almost threw a pick.
He threw it into no man's land. But that's kind of the good and bad of Darnold.
But I want to make it clear.
But he's also new to the playbook.
Right, he is new to the playbook. But let me make it clear. Yesterday's not going to determine who starts.
No.
Right now, Brock Purdy's taking all the reps with the ones. Now, I will say this. I don't get wasting reps on Brandon Allen,
I'm with
folks.
you.
And this whole thing about, well, Brendan Allen was a backup with Cincinnati. Go check when Brendan Allen signed with the 49ers. Come on, man.
It went almost 20 minutes in between. So, like, for example, we all saw Darnold look really good yesterday. I think it would be a disservice to the team. Forget the player, the team. Wasting 20 minutes in between reps and letting Brandon Allen get touches before Sam Darnold today.
Right.
Because that's what they did with Trey Lance, and I didn't think it was accurate. I thought I was poor management. If I was allocating practice time, I think you're doing a disservice to the rest of the team to give Brandon Allen 20 minutes of what should have been Darnold and Trey Lance time.
No doubt.
In my opinion.
No doubt. So the Niners signed Brandon Allen back on May 3rd. May 3rd. So it's kind of, in terms of free agency, it's a little later. You know what I mean? Compared to when they signed Sam Darnold. So Brandon Allen, I don't care if he was the backup to Joe Burrow. That doesn't mean he's good.
Doesn't he look like the clear-cut four?
I mean, Curtis Painter was the backup for the Indianapolis Colts. Did that mean anything? You mean you want him to play? Think about all the backups. Mason Rudolph was the backup to Ben Roethlisberger. Does that mean he's any good? He still can't get on the football field. Think about all these backups. Oh, my God, this guy's a backup to so-and-so. That doesn't mean a damn thing. Again, Brendan Allen signed with the Niners in early May. When Sam Darnold signed, that was late March. So you had a month of free agency. Plenty of teams said, Brendan Allen, if the Niners didn't sign him, there's a chance Brendan Allen is still a free agent.
I now believe differently. Before, I thought, the Niners are rushing Purdy back and, blah, blah. I truly believe this. I think the Niners were really wait and go with Purdy in terms of the health. I think they were just like, hey, whatever happens, happens.
Right.
And I think they signed Brandon Allen knowing nothing about where Brock Purdy was at and assuming that he would have setbacks. That's what I truly believe to this point right now. And I think right now, this next couple of days, they're just trying to iron out, like, is it even worth taking an even longer look moving forward on Brandon Allen?
Right.
I feel like the door is going to be shut on that.
But let's be clear. Nothing matters right now. Monday matters.
Of course.
Monday is when contact happens. And over the next couple of weeks when the contact is happening and the quarterbacks are wearing the shoulder pads and defense is out there flying around hitting and the offensive line is getting into it with the defensive linemen and we get into a couple preseason games, that will separate and that will determine the quarterback depth chart. And these guys are going to get equal reps. I just don't get why we're wasting reps on Brendan Allen. That's one thing. But Trey will get a chance. Darnold will get a chance. And Brock Purdy, let's see if he has any setbacks. But at his first day back, super, super rusty. I don't know what people were saying. Whoever thought he was great, maybe I'm just blind. Maybe I just don't know football. I'll just leave with that. Because you cannot tell me that performance. If you're there at practice, 888-957-9570. Again, it was great that Brock Purdy was on the practice field. It was great that he was in the huddle. It was great that he was running the offense. But the offense was poor under Brock Purdy.
He looks skittish in the pocket.
Yeah,
in the pocket, too, in particular. And I think that, again, do you want the realistic assessment or do you want all the context and all of the we know the backdrop. The backdrop is the guy first practice in months and looked like a guy who hadn't thrown for X amount of months.
But I wonder, is he rushing himself back?
Is
he rushing himself back?
I want to talk more about that.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
There's something that I was looking at with the arm that you pointed out, and then I watched all practice.
You see that?
I didn't see one person bring this up, and I want to talk about it.
All right, let's do it. Hey man, I need to be at practice more. Those practices were so fun.